following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
This is Talkin Cowboys. Streaming live from the Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
Handoff, Elliott plowing to the goal line. Barry, sacked by Lawrence. Prescott keeps it, and he bangs it in for the touchdown.
And now your hosts, Isaiah Stanback, Heckma Harrison, Rob Phillips, and Kyle Yeomans.
Oh, thank the Lord. It's a Say It With Your Chest Friday, and boy, do we have a lot to say it with our chest today. Isaiah's already given the Tarzan pounding of the chest in the bottom left-hand corner. We are Talkin Cowboys. Glad you're with us here on DallasCowboys.com and the various streaming websites. I'm Kyle Yeomans alongside the great Heckma Harrison Cowboys insider Rob Phillips and our resident Super Bowl champion, Mr. Isaiah Stanback. We've got ourselves a chock-full show. Let's just say it that way. There's a lot to talk about with this Dallas Cowboys team because you got a couple guys getting healthy. We, of course, have a couple guys replacing guys that won't be getting healthy. And we've got some predictions to have later on in the show as we're going to take a look at the rest of the Cowboys schedule. We're going to kind of talk through this thing a little bit. Is the season closer to being a championship season or a top 5 pick season? And we're going to discuss that coming up here in about 20 minutes or so. So things could get a little spicy today, boys. And I think there's no better way but to just get right into it. And the way we're going to do that is I'm going to defer to Mr. Rob Phillips here, as yesterday we did finally get to see a practice, of course, with this being a little bit longer week. Yesterday was the normal the normal Wednesday in terms of the regular practice schedule. So the Cowboys were back out on the field. What did the injury situation look like during yesterday's practice, Rob?
Well, once again, if you don't factor in the guys on IR, which is like a dozen guys, it looks like a pretty clean injury report. The only guy that's, take away Dak Prescott and Tristan Hill, who are not on IR at the moment. I think the only player on the active roster who didn't practice was Everson Griffin, and it was a non-injury, so I maybe a personal matter. I'm not sure exactly why he wasn't there. And so we'll see what happens with Leighton Vander Esch, but that's the big story. He's not on the injury report because he's on IR. But it could be this week, very possibly. Anytime you have a full practice, first practice of the week, that's pretty encouraging. And I counted it up. It's been, I think, September 15th is when he had the collarbone surgery. So if you take it to Monday night, it'll be right up against the 5-week mark. So, 6 to 8 was what we heard when he had the surgery. They said he's ahead of schedule. If he does play Monday night, he's right around 5 weeks instead of 6. So they could use him back, and that would be a big boost to the defense if he's ready to go.
Wow, 5 weeks of a recovery, and he's right back in the thick of things. And as a normal coverage of the team, and I guess fans out there as well, you would get a little nervous about that. But Isaiah, this is a medical staff that wouldn't put a guy out there if he wasn't 100% ready to go, right?
You're absolutely correct. I mean, this medical staff is top notch, second to none. You got Jimbo, you got Britt, Britt Brown, you got that whole crew over there. They're amazing. But there is a thing called upper management, and sometimes upper management wants guys to get on the field before trainers want them to get on the field. I hope that's not the case in this regards. I don't think that they should be forcing LBE out there or not forcing, but pushing him to go out there. I think you should play it on the safe side because look at the projection of this season. Yeah, the record is not good right now, and we need this W. But the future looks pretty darn promising, and we need to look at that and understand the situation that we're going to be in potentially going down the road, and why risk potential, re-injuring somebody who can utilize the extra 1 or 2 weeks for some healing.
Yeah, I think his big test comes today. This will be the padded practice, so just to see how that shoulder, that collarbone holds up. I don't know if this is just a coaching ploy to make the Cardinals think about us having our guy back. But, man, it would be so awesome for our defense that's already struggling. Joe Thomas, man, is, I would say 4th or 5th linebacker that has filled in nicely. But we do know that Leighton just has a whole nother dimension to his game that Joe just isn't able to click up to. So getting him back, especially what he does in the passing game for the linebacker, I think is going to be pivotal, especially in a matchup with Kyler Murray and just knowing that quick release and how mobile he is, man. So getting Leighton back would be, man, it would be great for us.
Hey, Kyle, can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
I'm gonna let you play trainer.
Okay.
Even if LVE is ready to go, right? The thing is shored up, he's ready to go. He's had a good practice, hopefully another good practice today. Do you put him out there with the way that this defensive front has been playing and knowing that these offensive linemen are going to get up to the second level?
It's tough.
That's tough. It's tough because we've also said that that Jalen has struggled because his inability to run sideline to sideline because of his guys in his way. And you look at that, it's two-sided, right? Can we get more push on our defense to allow our linebackers to run sideline to sideline? Do you also limit Leighton how many snaps he plays defensively? So I think a lot of that is going to be factored into it, especially if he's going to play Monday night.
Yeah, that's a tough situation because you want him back out there, but you also want to take the safe route, especially with a young guy who could turn out to be a star, and it already was really a star in 2018 and at the early parts of 2019 before he ended up getting hurt. So I think overall you want him back out there and you want him to play and get those reps. You may not throw a full workload at him, but if he's fully ready to go, I don't see a problem with him seeing a couple snaps. But like we said earlier, and Heckma mentioned this a minute ago about today is really the important day. Right now, that's not anything compared to what they're going to see today in practice. First padded practice. Mike McCarthy echoed that sentiment in his his weekly conversation with 105.3 The Fan. Said that today's a big day. If he goes out there and it looks good and he feels good and he's able to go out and hit somebody and maybe get a couple hits taken on his side, he's going to be ready to go on Monday because of how ahead of schedule he is. But today's going to tell a lot, Rob, on just how ready Leighton Vander Esch is going to be.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's no simulation for the Cardinals on Monday night. I mean, they're not going to tackle each other in practice, so you just have to trust it. And trust, that it's. I'm sure they're not going to put him out there unless it's healed. I just don't. I don't believe that. I think because Isaiah is right. Like, it's amazing to me. I hadn't thought about this. He has not played a full game for the Dallas Cowboys in almost a calendar year. Almost a calendar year. It was last November where he was, trying to fight through the stinger stuff and then wound up on IR and had the surgery in January on his neck. So, Isaiah is exactly right. He is so important to their future. He's the future of that defense, and I just don't think they would put him out there if they didn't feel like he was ready. It does seem, it's an accelerated timeline, but he must be making a ton of progress. And when they do plate that thing, it does accelerate the healing process. It makes it faster than if you're just healing on its own, which with a bone, it's always a minimum 6 weeks. So, I just have to believe that to your point with Jim and Britt and those guys, they're gonna be really careful with him and make sure he's ready to go. Again, though, once you get out there and you hit and you get hit, that's the real test.
That's the test. And you mentioned being careful with Leighton Vander Esch. They've been careful with players before, one of which actually one that we didn't know was really dealing with any kind of specific injuries. But Mike McCarthy came out today and said that the snap count from Amari Cooper on the outside, on the offensive side of the ball, has been down, and it was down against the Giants because he's been dealing with a couple different things. Now, if you go back and you look at the snap counts and the percentage that he was on the field from week 1 to week 5, it decreased every single week pretty consistently to the point where he was just over 60% of the snaps in that game against New York. Heckman, do you take any stock in the fact that the snap count is going down for Amari Cooper? Or is this just a veteran getting a couple less plays and less snaps than we really anticipated?
It does worry me. It worries me to the extent, especially where he is in the pecking order of our receivers. We obviously all, I think, unanimously agree that he's the number one guy for the Cowboys. And defenses have to account for the fact that Amari Cooper is on the field, and when he's not, they get to adjust their game plan. So I don't know. They're not listening or saying anything about an injury to say it's I think last year was an ankle or a calf or knee injuries, whatever, lower leg injuries, whatever it is. Amari Cooper is very important to what we do, and especially with having a new quarterback. And so we're going to have to give Andy Dalton every weapon that he needs to be successful on offense. So that does worry me, Kyle, and that's something that definitely we need to keep an eye on, especially with the reps and going into this next 3-game stretch.
Isaiah?
It should worry you, just like Heck said. I mean, understand this: number one receivers in the NFL don't get time off in regards to snaps off. They don't get their play counts, kind of moderated and handled in that way. It doesn't happen. You don't see Julio Jones getting his snaps, even when he was gimping around on a hamstring, one hamstring against the Cowboys. He was still out there every play. You don't see D-Hop out there, asking for less reps. Larry Fitzgerald. I mean, these number one guys don't do that. So when their reps are being cut, it's because something is going on, and there's something that they're trying to manage, and they're trying to minimize the amount of damage that's being done.
Yeah, if you go back to training camp, remember he didn't really practice the last few days of camp, and I think it might have been a little bit of a hamstring because that's what it was on the injury report, like week 1. And the Cowboys kept saying, and I'm not saying that's what it is here, because whatever it is, it's not enough to put him on the injury report. He's not in danger of missing the game. But they're, $100 million man, they want to make sure weeks 1 through 17, he's good. And so maybe they're just trying to manage that he's not overdoing himself. And because you're right, like if it's all systems go, you want him out on the field. I will say this. On that drive that we referenced earlier in the week where it was 14 plays, all runs, and you didn't see CeeDee Lamb on that drive either. So Mike McCarthy's got a little bit of a different approach in terms of he trusts 1 through 5, the receivers they've got that are in the rotation. And he always talks about how the young guys and the backup guys, if I trust them, they need to play. Mm-hmm. Because as we go through the season, we're going to need them. And as many injuries as the Cowboys have had, you hope that that's not the case where guys have to step in and start at the receiver position. But he wants to work guys in. He believes in a rotation at wide receiver. But, yeah, I mean, I'm with you. When you see 40-something snaps from Amari, that just kind of jumps out at you because he has been productive. I think he's getting like 85 yards a game.
All right.
And Rob brought up exactly what Mike McCarthy said, and specifically McCarthy referenced Cedric Wilson and Noah Brown, and specifically Cedric Wilson to get him out there in order to set up what was the reverse pass that we saw at the end of the second quarter that went from Cedric Wilson to Dak Prescott. So having him out there kind of set that up. The reason why he put Cedric Wilson out there instead of Amari Cooper or instead of CeeDee Lamb or Michael Gallup, it was Amari that he took out. So I don't know. Maybe it is the emergence of some of these other receivers that has been taking the snaps away. Does that play a big factor into it, Isaiah? I know you were pretty adamant about it being worrisome, but is it maybe just because there's good wide receivers out there as well?
I think McCarthy's approach is definitely different than things that we've probably seen in the history of the NFL. He recognizes that going into, if you have plans of going to the Super Bowl, guys are going to get hurt. And there's a high probability that you're going to lose, 1 or 2 of your top dogs at the receiver position. So you need all hands on deck, and they all need playing time. You don't want their first playing time to be when you absolutely need them. So I give him kudos in regards to make sure that all those guys are prepared and rotating guys in and out and giving guys a breath. But when you drop off 40% of your snaps, there's something else going on.
I just want to make sure he's on the field at the end of the game. Remember last year when they were trying to clinch the division and he was not on the field at the end? I don't know if we ever got a real explanation of why that happened, because Heckma is right. They were trying to manage him last year, but manage him in the second quarter and get him on the field in the fourth quarter. If that's what you need to do.
Yeah, our guys, man, Ced Wilson and Noah Brown, these guys are playing really well, right? Mm-hmm. And I think, to my surprise, I mean, Cedric Wilson is just like popping on tape. And Noah Brown had some great catches, possession receptions.
Yep.
And also, he's doing a wonderful job blocking. And so, obviously, you don't want to tilt your hand or say, anytime you see 85 on the field, it's an obvious running down. So, getting him in and also recognizing that Noah Brown is also going to be a part of our offensive strategy, I think that's a great thing, especially going down the line and people getting more tape on this offense. Look, it can't hurt to get those young guys some reps.
It's definitely paid dividends so far. Helped Cedric Wilson throw a touchdown pass. Of course, he was a former quarterback as well. And then you have Noah Brown, who continues to just make key plays. He's not going to put up big stat lines, but he's been making key plays in that wide receiving core. Hopefully, Amari Cooper, whatever he's dealing with isn't anything too serious, and he continues to make an impact. He's still really in the top 10 of receivers in the NFL in both receptions and in yardage right now. So it's not like he hasn't been productive this season. He's still putting up massive numbers. We just hope that it continues and stays consistent as the year goes along. We're going to step aside for our first break. When we come back, we've got a good segment for you guys playing. Looking ahead to the rest of the schedule, realistic expectations for the Cowboys, and it may end up being a little bit better than you think when we come back here on Talkin Cowboys.
Since 1865, Stetson hats are American-made with pride right here in Texas. And Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Want to show your Texas and team pride too? You can. By purchasing your own Stetson, you can look just like how the flag guys do on field at every home game. Stetson hats, the official crown of all self-respecting Cowboys, and your favorite football team.
Get yours today at shop.dallascowboys.com or at stetson.com.
Want to use what the pros use? How about the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black? Right now you can get the Jack Black Starter, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The starter includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites plus a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Go to getjackblack.com/Cowboys and use the code word TEAMJB. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys. The Jack Black Starter, $10, free shipping.
Essilor is a proud sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys, helping fans see more and do more with our best vision solutions. Our lens technologies reveal a world more beautiful than you can imagine. For a limited time, get the Essilor Next Gen offer. When you buy the latest generation of Transitions lenses with select Essilor lenses, you can choose a second pair of clear lenses for free with qualifying frame purchases. Restrictions apply. Find a participating eye care professional by visiting EssilorUSA.com. Essilor. See more, do more.
We're back with a tasty treat that's sweeping airwaves and taste buds. It's new Dr. Pepper and Cream Soda. Let's take a listen.
Dr. Pepper and Cream Soda's here. A new combo that's music to my ears, okay. Let's play. Cream Soda and Dr. Pepper time. Pour it in a glass of ice.
Ah, music to my ears and mouth. New Dr. Pepper and Cream Soda.
A delicious duet.
Back to Talkin Cowboys.
It's a Say It With Your Chest Friday here on Talkin Cowboys. Glad you're with us on the various streaming platforms. And here over the next 30 minutes, we'll continue to break down what will be the Monday Night Football matchup between the Cowboys and the Arizona Cardinals on ESPN 7:15 on Monday. This is our final show, by the way, before that game. And I made the mistake earlier of saying that it was we were going to have 6 shows. We do not have a show on Monday, so that's a little unfortunate. But we do have a game Monday, so it's exciting in that regard. Heckma Harrison, Rob Phillips, Isaiah Stanback, I'm Kyle Yeomans. And guys, the expectations are a bit doom and gloom right now when it comes to the Cowboys, and we've kind of talked about it already. What are the realistic expectations with Andy Dalton as the starting quarterback following the Dak Prescott injury? We also don't have our starting tackles. We're starting to get healthy on defense, but even then, there's still a lot of question marks on that side of the football. So realistically, expectation-wise, I want to go through really each part of the schedule for the rest of the year. We've got 11 games left. Out of those 11 games, there's only 3 teams that have a current winning record at this moment, and that's the Cardinals, the Steelers, and then the Ravens coming up later on in the season as well. Cowboys have the second easiest schedule in the NFL based off of winning percentage, only second to the Las Vegas Raiders. What was that?
Easiest, huh?
Yep, easiest schedule.
Nothing's easy with this team.
No, it's not.
Nothing's easy.
It's not. But also, you look at the teams that you've beat. I mentioned the records yesterday. They're 13-2 combined, or the teams you've lost to, rather, are 13-2 combined. The teams you beat are 0-10. So we don't really know how to evaluate this team based off of comparison.
Fair.
We finally get a chance to do that this week with the 3-2 Cardinals. But do expectations really change, Heckma, whenever it comes to Andy Dalton as the quarterback? And I know we asked that this week, but I'm talking about schedule by schedule, week by week.
You know, Andy Dalton has been brought in to help in this situation right here, to help the Cowboys in a tough time get some quality wins. We have one of the more talented rosters in the NFL, and if you look at our IR report, man, we got a who's who in the NFL of guys that are out for the year. So
squad on IR.
We do.
It's a Pro Bowl IR.
It is, and it's one of those things where you just have to, when you wrap your head around it, and the way that we've been breaking down the season in quarters, and you look over the next 4 games, and they have a manageable. They could come away 3-1 or 4-0 in the next couple of games. And so I look at it, and me and Isaiah's conversation, obviously, about Andy Dalton and just what his skill set is. I mean, when Dak Prescott, and look, man, I've gone 5 days without Dak, and I think I'm recovering right now, and I want to see how good I'm going to be on Monday, but we can't have the expectation go from here to here with the guy that has all the experience that Andy Dalton has. So I'm really excited about the opportunity just to see what he has on Monday and the way that this new Cowboys offense is going to function. Because like I said yesterday, man, things are going to be different because of what Dak's abilities gave Kellen Moore from that skill set aspect. But you know, people are starting to talk about Ezekiel Elliott and how important he is to this offense going forward with Andy Dalton. But I still think that you can't abandon other aspects of your offense. So, look, I still have high expectations for this team, especially knowing that they have some winnable games in front of them.
Isaiah, do you agree?
I do. I don't. I think I've spoken enough on this over the last few days. I'm a believer in Andy Dalton. I think that he is an accomplished quarterback who is well respected in this league. He came here for a vacation, and vacation's over. So it's time. So it's time for him to go out there and take care of business. Luckily they have a backup quarterback who's more than capable for a discount double check, and he's gonna do what this team needs. He'll be the leader that this team needs. He's not going to provide wins that Dak, he's not going to provide any more wins that Dak would have provided had he been in the position. So I'll put it that way. But my expectations are the same for this team.
Yeah, I mean, when we talk about, Kyle, you mentioned down the stretch, a lot of teams with losing records. I mean, look, Cowboys have a losing record too. And when you have a losing record, that means there's things, injuries are part of it, but there's things that you're not doing to win football games. So,
absolutely,
they've got to be a more consistent team. They've got to cut down turnovers more, first and foremost, and clean some other things up. And I thought the defense definitely took a step forward in doing that against the Giants. I know the Giants have really struggled on offense, but that's encouraging. And I'm with Isaiah and you guys on Andy Dalton. I think he can win games for this team. He can put them in position to win games. And I said this yesterday, because this division so far, what we've seen is really struggling. It's not a good division at all. 4-2, 5-1 doesn't seem out of the question, despite everything we've talked about. All these injuries, you lose your starting quarterback for what's expected to be the season, and that's still out in front of you. So if you're able to do that, then you need to just steal a couple games potentially division, and maybe 8-8 wins this division. I absolutely think that's possible. So to me, closer to a 5 pick or the Super Bowl, I still say the Super Bowl. I absolutely think they have a chance and at least get in
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think there's any question. Does anybody on here think that they're not going to make the playoffs?
I don't know for sure, but I think they definitely have a shot. I mean, I think it's down to them and Philly. Whichever team can kind of just strap it up and be somewhat consistent.
Yeah, I mean, I don't believe that this team doesn't make the playoffs. I mean, I don't think that's a discussion, at least not from my perspective. Now they may fumble the ball a number of times in the process and not have a great record, but they sneak into the playoffs simply because of the matters that you guys are referring to, and that's this division is absolutely completely terrible. But that's what they're banking on is a terrible division, not necessarily. We shouldn't have to be talking about how bad the division is for us to get where we want to get to versus our actual production on the field.
Sure,
but as bad as the teams are in the NFC East, our defense is as bad as there is in the NFL. We are on a history-making pace to finish above with the 20-12 New Orleans Saints. And so that's not good company. And so whatever we do, if we have any success, it's going to be because we're able to get some functionality on defense and get some stops, turnovers, things like that. But I think it's wrong to really lower the expectations to say, all right, well, yeah, we're in the top 5. we're in the draft, baby. So let's start doing that. I think the roster is way too talented for that. But I am, guys, going to be looking at how much Andy Dalton is throwing the ball. I just think that if you have him on a pitch count of 40, 45 passes a game, I think that's a recipe for a disaster, especially with our offensive line. So those are some of the things that I'm looking for. And like you've alluded to, also, Rob, is the turnovers, man. That turnovers are killing us. And it was killing us before Dak got hurt. We have to get that under control.
You mentioned having Andy Dalton on a pitch count, and you and I actually had this conversation last night. For those of you who don't know outside of the show, Heckma and I do play-by-play in color for Frisco ISD football games and stuff throughout the week, and we have fun on Thursdays and Fridays, but we have Cowboys conversations in that booth as well. And one of the conversations was Heckma said you don't want Andy Dalton throwing the ball 40 times, which is a conversation we've had with Dak Prescott. And I decided to look up his record if he threw the ball 40 times. He's done it 32 times in his career. And in his career, he's had 6 wins out of those 32 games that whenever he throws the ball 40 times. Now, of course, that's going to be a skewed number just based off the fact that you usually throw the ball whenever you're behind, and he was on a couple really bad teams in Cincinnati. So that's going to be skewed a little bit, but 6 wins out of 32 tries isn't necessarily anything that bodes well for an air raid attack, at least with what we could be seeing moving forward. Now, looking at the rest of this schedule, and you go down the list, the Cardinals on Monday night, we'll give our prediction coming up in a little bit. Then you have Washington, Philly, both on the road, so you get both of those teams at home later on in the season. Then you've got the Steelers at home, the Vikings on the road, Washington at home, Ravens on the road. Any of those games stick out as one where either you could drop it when you're supposed to win it or one that you're supposed to lose, but you might actually sneak one out, or Isaiah?
Nah, I think it's pretty I'm sorry, I'm looking at my calendar right here, my schedule.
Pretty clean all the way through, right?
I think you're 3-3. You're hopeful to be 3-3.
Okay.
In those 6 games.
You're saying hopeful. A loss to the Vikings, a loss to the Steelers, and a loss to the Cardinals? Kind of.
And the Ravens.
And the Ravens. So 4 losses there?
Yeah, let me go ahead with the extra loss in there. 4 losses there, yeah. I think you win all your divisional games.
And Rob, that's another thing. Rob did mention 4-2 and 5-1 in terms of the division. Is it possible to see 6-0 still, though?
I do. No. I don't. I think 5-1 is like way up on the smelly sticker side in terms of like, can they, asking a team, look, they have done a lot of things to hurt themselves in these games. So when you're talking about can they win 5 of 6, like that's being generous. It really is, especially with the injuries they're dealing with. But and on all these division games are always toss-ups. It doesn't really matter.
Absolutely.
The game we just saw was a toss-up.
Yep.
But I do think they still have talent, and they still have, when you still have a quarterback that you can rely on, It gives you an opportunity. And we talked about, look, Dalton, Wentz, they're still the best they're the best quarterbacks in the division. So that's why I put them in that category of having a shot. But to your question, Kyle, like this game right here is a perfect example of what you're talking about. Like it's a winnable game, but there are things that trouble you too in terms of the matchups. So this is a total swing game for me as well. And there's other ones kind of like that. There's teams like Philly has been good and they've been not so good. San Francisco looked like you could maybe chalk that up to an L. They got smoked by Miami a couple weeks ago. Right. So it's really hard to know. Heckma kept saying it. I agree. I mean, if you take care of the ball, you give yourself a chance in what's probably going to be a lot of one-score games.
And I'm really excited about to see Andy Dalton versus his old AFC North foes. I mean, he knows this. He knows the Steelers' defense. He knows the Ravens' defense as well. So I think those matchups, maybe we get a chance. We steal one of those or two of those, and I'm really being optimistic on that. Even the Vikings. I know I'm being optimistic, but I'm basing that off of his experience with those teams only, right? But the Vikings, we owe the Vikings, man. They came into AT&T and they ran all over us. And so I'm just looking at the Vikings game as we owe them for that one. But 8-8, 7-9, however you get into the tournament, especially with the extra team in the playoffs, you just got to get there. They just
facts. Hey, that is absolutely facts, and that's all that matters. And that's what I'm saying. I think they freaking wheelchair their way all the way to the doggone playoffs. It's 0-0 once you get to the playoffs. So that's all that really matters. As we talk about some of these other teams, and I know we're talking about Andy Dalton a lot, these wins are not all on Andy Dalton's shoulders. Please, let's make that clear. These are not on Andy Dalton's shoulders. Dak Prescott was throwing the ball 57 times a game, and he wasn't winning games, right? So let's be real and to say that it's not fair to try to put all this now on Andy Dalton when it wasn't all on Dak's shoulders. He plays a huge role, but unless this defense starts playing better, there are going to be a lot of games that they lose. So if this defense decides to miraculously turn things around, either starting this week, next week, or when Gregory gets back, and all of a sudden, oh my gosh, we got all our guys now. If they figure it out, then guess what? Then we're having different conversations. But as it stands right now, the way this defense has played right now, I don't have high projections in terms of what these guys can do in this upcoming schedule. But they still make the playoffs because of the division. And
that's why this game is such a great test, because we talked about all of Arizona's weapons, how versatile they are, how you've got to be assignment sharp, how the quarterback can beat you in a bunch of different ways, how they've got the best receiver in the league, they've got a pretty strong running game. Like, this is a test. If the defense stands tall and is productive in this game, then you got to start feeling better about the rest of the schedule.
Absolutely.
But we got to see it. We got to see it.
Because right now it looks like that following the bye week game, that Week 10 game against the Vikings, if Dalvin Cook is back and healthy for that game, he may go for 450 yards on the ground. I don't know. He may end up finding a way to hit the 500 mark. So Alexander Madison is on my fantasy team now. He may have 240 himself. So I think right now you look at it. I agree. This game coming up on Monday night is a huge benchmark game. Even if you lose, you're not out of it. This is not a chalk up. Let's throw the season away. Let's tank for Trevor. Nothing of the sort. And I kind of hate that talk on one end. I think it's kind of a lazy sports opinion from media members around the area of tanking and getting draft picks. I think that's stupid. This is a talented enough team that's been dealing with some injuries and has enough moving forward to have a chance. And I think it starts this week against the Cardinals. Now, we are going to predict that game, and we've got a couple more games we're going to predict once we step aside. But before we step aside, I want to tell you about Essilor lenses. Whether you're watching from home or cheering in the stands, with Essilor lenses, you'll see every exciting play. Book an appointment at your local Essilor experts and find the perfect Essilor lenses for you. See more, do more. Essilor. We'll be right back with more Talkin' Cowboys.
I'm Jay Novacek, former tight end for the Dallas Cowboys. Back in the day, I was the guy who always got the tough yards, and that's why I run with John Deere today. In fact, I have a John Deere 3025E tractor that can handle any yard work I need to do, even the tough yards way out back. So if you have 1 acre or 1,000, John Deere has the equipment that's just right for you. Visit a John Deere dealer today and run with us. We are the official tractor provider of your Dallas Cowboys.
Essilor is a proud sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys, helping fans see more and do more with our best vision solutions. Our lens technologies reveal a world more beautiful than you can imagine. For a limited time, get the Essilor Next Gen offer. When you buy the latest generation of Transitions lenses with select Essilor lenses, you can choose a second pair of clear lenses for free with qualifying frame purchases. Restrictions apply. Find a participating eye care professional by visiting EssilorUSA.com. Essilor. See more, do more.
We're back with a tasty treat that's sweeping airwaves and taste buds. It's new Dr. Pepper and Cream Soda. Let's take a listen.
Dr. Pepper and cream soda's here. A new combo that's music to my ears, okay. Let's play. Cream soda and Dr. Pepper time. Pour it in a glass of ice.
Ah, music to my ears and mouth. New Dr. Pepper and Cream Soda.
A delicious duet.
Want to use what the pros use? How about the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black? Right now you can get the Jack Black Starter, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The starter includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites plus a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Go to getjackblack.com/cowboys and use the code word TEAMJB. That's getjackblack.com/cowboys. The Jack Black Starter, $10, free shipping.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
Back here on Talkin' Cowboys, final segment of Say It With Your Chest Friday. And if you get a chance, tour AT&T Stadium, the home of the Dallas Cowboys. You can run on the field, see the locker rooms, and so much more. AT&T Stadium tours presented by SeatGeek are available daily at AT&TStadium.com for details, and always a great time out at AT&T Stadium. They'll have a fun one on Monday night as the Cardinals come to town for Monday Night Football. And we just broke down the game. We broke it down on Wednesday's show and Thursday's show. Go back and listen to it. 2 really, really insightful 45-minute episodes, and I highly encourage it. These 3 guys, Heckma Harrison, Rob Phillips, and Isaiah Standback, just killed it. I'm Kyle Yeomans. All I do is drive the bus, and I'd have a fun time doing so. Okay, so with that being said, ooh, I like that, Isaiah. He's getting a little whip in there. Okay.
It's the Cadillac right there.
Is that the Cadillac? Is that the Lambo? It's the Cadillac 360 or whatever it was, or whatever.
I'm sorry, that's a Ford F-150.
Oh, there you go. Okay. Okay, that'll work.
You're right.
I'm more a Chevy guy. Ford, because we're on the radio and because the Cowboys.
Ford.
Yeah, go Ford 150. Okay, so we've got 4 games that we're going to break down today after that save. We're going to start things off with Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. A perfect 4-0 against Tommy Brady.
Hold on.
In Tampa Bay. What was that? Don't you ask me what I know you're about to ask me. I don't have your answer. I don't have your answer. I didn't do it this week. So I was hoping to slide by there, and I'll give it to you next week, Heckma. I'll give you the updated records next week. I am sorry. I forgot. That's my bad.
You know what? Heckma stole the game, and y'all know this is tight. So he don't want to tell us how tight this is right now. That's all. Okay.
I just didn't get the records. I don't want to feed false information.
You have Titans, right, Heck?
You know I did.
Yeah, that's great pick.
That's a good pick.
Hey, Heck.
That's a good pick.
I feel like there's some tomfoolery going on.
I do too, Isaiah.
You guys can come and check.
It's almost like the polls, the polls got cut off or something. I don't know.
Come check my work once it's over with. I'll get it updated. I'll tweet it out later on. I'll tweet it and make sure that you guys have your moment in the limelight. I'm probably in last, so it doesn't matter. Anyways, let's start with the Packers and the Buccaneers. Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Green Bay, 30-plus points, no giveaways, 4 straight games. How nice it would be to have no turnovers in this season. And Heckma, since you're so anxious, we'll let you start this one off this week.
Like Genuine.
No, man, that's a good one, man, because I don't know if Devontae Adams is going to play this game. He has been really ticked off about being a somewhat healthy scratch, but I like the Packers. I don't like their defense. I'm going Packers.
Okay.
I got to get a game back from Heckma. This is a toss-up, man. But Tom Brady fought a 3-3. I don't know if I see that. I'll take Tampa Bay at home.
Ooh, okay. Isaiah?
I'm going with the discount double check, baby.
Discount double check. So he's got Green Bay.
I miss those commercials.
Those are great commercials. They still do a good job. Pat Mahomes is on a couple of those. I'm going to take Green Bay in this one as well. I just think they're too good, and I think that defense is a little underrated. That's a fantastic defense that they've got rolling up north. Okay, Sunday Night Football back on the West Coast. San Francisco hosting the L.A. Rams. L.A. at 4-1. San Francisco at 2-3 and banged up a little bit. The Rams allowed just one passing touchdown or fewer in 4 of their last 5 games. So that defense with Jalen Ramsey and company, pretty stout on that side of the football. I'll start this one off since I went last. I'm going to take Rams on the road, but I expect this to be a little closer than I think most people have. I think the Rams get it in a late win, much like how kind of we saw Seattle over Minnesota this past week, Isaiah.
So who are the Rams playing again?
San Francisco, the 49ers.
Oh, yeah. The 49ers, they won't get healthy to the second half of the season. So, yeah, Rams.
Okay.
Yeah, Rams for me also.
Making it.
Aaron Donald, Rams defense is just nasty right now. I'll take the Rams.
LAR across the board for everybody. Okay, moving on to the first leg of the Monday night doubleheader. I kind of like these Monday night doubleheaders, by the way. Cowboys on the second leg, of course, and we'll predict that game coming up here in just a minute. However, there's 2 4-1 teams, 2 really good teams coming off of losses, embarrassing losses in their own rights last week. And the Chiefs on the road against the Bills. Kansas City has won 3 of the last 4 matchups with Buffalo, but both teams at 4-1, both teams with really stout young quarterbacks. Rob, who you got?
Is Pat Mahomes playing?
He is playing.
He's
playing.
Water wet? Yes.
Chiefs. Give me the Chiefs.
Okay. Heckma?
No, God. Where are they playing? Where's the game going to be?
It's at Buffalo.
Ooh. Man. You took Chiefs, Rob.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, don't be stupid. I'm going Chiefs, too.
No, we thought about it, though.
Chiefs. I did.
I'm going to go with the newly named Cheat Code Chiefs.
Right.
The Cheat Code Chiefs? Is that just from the Le'Veon Bell signing? Is that what that's from?
You're doggone right it is. You're doggone right. These dudes are freaking... I don't
look at
understand.
Look at Le'Veon Bell, considered a locker room cancer, and getting an up. Wow, that's just amazing how that works.
You know that he can't play yet. He's probably going to play his first game whenever the Jets come to town, which I think is going to be just fantastic. And have an opportunity to kind of get some revenge there. Man, I need to get a game back, but it's the Chiefs, and they lost last week.
Do it.
I'm not going to do it.
They're not going to lose 2 in a row, Kyle.
Yeah, they're not going to lose 2 in a row. Like you said, Heckma, I'm not going to be dumb about this. I'm going to pick Kansas City, and I'm going to be pretty confident in it. I think the Chiefs rebound. Don't be stupid. So I'm going to take the Chiefs. Okay, big one. Monday Night Football. Send in your picks. Say it with your chest here on the Periscope chat. Cowboys-Cardinals Monday night. Andy Dalton at quarterback for the Cowboys, as really they've got to get back on track. Andy Dalton lost 4 straight games on Monday Night Football. He's 2-5 in his career. He's 6-20 in prime time. But does he get a win against the Cardinals this week? Isaiah, start us off. Oh, he's lurking. He's looking into the screen for those of you listening.
Andy Dalton takes care of business this week against the Cardinals, but the Cowboys still lose.
Oh, no.
Oh, I was so excited for 2 seconds there, and then he just crushed all my dreams. Oh, well, so he's taking...
They can't handle these guys.
Yeah, Arizona's pretty good. Okay, Rob?
Yeah.
Man, this reminds me of the Cleveland game where, like, my head's telling me bad matchups, and I paid for that pick with the Cowboys, but I'm going Cowboys again because I think there's something to Dak being out, and sometimes when your leader is out, you focus up a little bit more. and I think they're going to play cleaner. I think they're going to play better in this game. And the thing that makes me feel a little bit better about the matchup is the Cardinals have a problem taking care of the ball too.
Yes, they do.
So if the Cowboys can just be a little bit better in that regard, I think they can win the game at home, but it's going to be close. I'll go 28-27 Cowboys.
Heckman,
right.
do you want to go first or you want me to go first? Because I'll leave it for you to be last if you want.
No, I'll go now. It's
Hey, Hegma, just a reminder, Hegma. This is Kyler Murray's homecoming.
It is. He's 7-0 inside AT&T Stadium.
All right. So since 07, the Cowboys' backup quarterbacks have been 7-20. That's not good. And our defense is what it is. You see them every Sunday, so you know what they are. And Dak is not going to play another snap for the Cowboys this year. And I think the whole city is hurting because of it. But I'm putting my fours up for Monday. We are going to get a victory. Everybody's telling us that Kyler Murray is going to come in here and do his little leprechaun dance that he likes to do in the end zone. It's not going to happen. Finally, we are going to see this defense rise up. D-Law, Everson Griffin. I'm going to even call out Dontari Poe. Dog, they on your back, Big Poe. They on your back. We get LVE back hopefully this week. Jalen Smith. Come on, guys. Stop making me look so bad on this show. Cowboys win, man. Cowboys win.
Poe versus Murray? Oh, Lord.
Oh, no.
I pulled it out. I need it.
Yeah, I'm with both Rob and Heckma here where the head says no, but the gut says yes. I think the Cowboys are about to start a run, and we talked about the schedule coming up here in the next couple weeks. Washington, Philly, Pittsburgh, Minnesota, Washington. I think you have a chance to win a lot of games coming up pretty soon. And I think this is where it starts. I think you might get if Leighton Vander Esch is back in the fold, I think this defense will play much better. I think Jalen Smith will be able to back up what was his best game since 2018 in last week's win against the Giants. So I'm going to take the Cowboys in this one just off of a gut feeling. I've got that gut feeling. It's not the bubble guts. It's a little exciting because I just think the defense is coming together, and I think this is
carbonated guts.
Show it. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Yeah. So
it's carbonated guts.
Yeah,
it's working its way toward bubble guts.
Yeah, it's working its way toward the bubble. But I'm going to take the Cowboys, and hopefully we'll be handing out plenty of smelly stickers coming up on Monday night and Tuesday morning as the Cowboys hopefully get a win against Arizona. So that's going to do it here for Talking Cowboys. Glad you're with us. Over the last 5 weeks, we'll be back on Tuesday following up the game on Monday night. But for now, for Chris Beam in the back, for Heckma Harrison, Rob Phillips, and Isaiah Stanback, I'm Kyle Yeomans. Thanks for saying with your chest. We'll see you on Tuesday on Talking Cowboys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!